holders. Over at Amazon, the bots are doing the firing. Man, they got a bot for everything now. If you have built your business model on one-off sales, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They don't have a better product than you. They just have better marketing. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, we're saving jobs, we're saving our community. Now, every now and then, I get out here and I save a soul. What's that about, right? Hey, my dad was a preacher. Can't help myself. Some things just in you. But my mission is a little different than my dad's. He was saving souls. He would get up in that pulpit on Sunday morning and he would hoop and holler, trying to get people going the straight and narrow. Well, I'm trying to do the same thing, but it's for your business. I'm on a different ministry. My business is to help you build your business, grow your customer base, and be successful so that we can build a legacy and leave something behind for our young people so that our community can grab that brass ring and build an economic foundation so that we don't be at the bottom of the totem pole all the time when it comes to things financial. So I'm on a mission. That's right. I have a raison d'etre, a reason for being, a purpose for being on this earth, and it is to help you grow your business. You know what? There are a lot of ways you can get to that top of the economic ladder. You can be born into it. Well, that excludes many of us. You can go out here and hit the lottery. You can come up with a great invention. You can, there's a lot of ways. You can go rob a bank. Some illegal ways to do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. But there is an opportunity that's available to all, and that is starting a business. Now, many people have chosen that route, but they didn't take it all the way. They didn't get the information, the knowledge, the background it takes to make it successful. So we don't just need businesses. We need successful businesses. And that's why you should tune into the Marketing Pulpit TV show every Friday at 10:30 a.m. because we show you how to do it. That's right. I'm Robert Gatewood. I am a business developer by trade. Been doing this for 30 plus years. I've been in corporate America, sat in boardrooms. I've been on government contracts. I still do that. I teach this stuff at the college. Been doing that for 22 years. Wow, that's a long time. Oh, I'm also a consultant for the Small Business Administration. I've written a couple of books. And I'm president and CEO of Gatewood Marketing and Web, a full-service advertising agency where we take companies from inception all the way up to scaling. We would sell it, you can scale it, or you can just stick around and make it your something you can pass on to the next generation. So, thank you for joining us and welcome everybody. I would like to thank all of our regular listeners who tune in on a regular basis. We're just glad to have you people like Brother Gerald Brown of Eternity Plumbing, one of the greatest plumbers in the land, and many other people out there that are tuning in today. You're tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and LinkedIn, and glad to have you tuning in this morning to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Got a lot to talk about today, but you know what? I always got a story. I was driving to work the other day, and I saw this person cut this lady off. She almost went off the road. She went up on the curb, had a baby in the car. Poor baby all shaken up. Now, of course, I'm no EMT. I wasn't trying to do any medical advice, but I did kind of pull over and look at her and say, look, anything, you all right? You good? I could tell she was shaken up, but she wasn't hurt. And I'm going to give the person who ran her off the road the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that person didn't realize how that person has really shaken up and discombobulated this young lady and really practically ruined her day. I'm giving that person the benefit of the doubt. Now, like I said, I tried. I'm not what I could have done. Car was okay. She was fine. Baby looked okay. But still, somebody's day could have been ruined. But it reminded me of something. How much power we have. How much power we have as individuals to make or break somebody's day. Man, we start out today, most days start out pretty normal. It's all put together. Get up, put your clothes on, Get your little juice and your coffee. And this is National Coffee Day, by the way. You start out the day, you're pretty intact. But some person has the power to break that day. Just shatter it into a million pieces. And you're not right the rest of the day. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You also have the power to make somebody's day. That's right. You can break or make somebody's day. And the choice is yours. You didn't realize you had that kind of power, did you? Well, you do. Now, let's just assume you really don't want to ruin anybody's day. I can't imagine that's you. But it happens. I mean, it just depends on how you wire. I mean, this doesn't come natural to all of us. Some of us just wired differently. We just weren't taught certain things, or we've been in an environment that proliferated certain habits. Let me tell you this. If you want to break somebody's day, if you want to ruin somebody's day, let me tell you how to do it in case you forgot. Assault, verbal or physical. You can ruin somebody's day with assault. Just watch the words that come out of your mouth. And people have gotten so angry these days. That's why we do a segment called War in the Workplace. Why is everybody so angry? You can actually ruin somebody's day by verbal or physical assault. In case you're wondering how you can ruin somebody's day, you can cheat or shortchange them. That's a good way to ruin a day. You go out here and cheat somebody or shortchange them. How about spraying some gossip? Just give you some little tips here. If you want to know how to ruin somebody's day, go out here and spread a rumor. You can do it. That'll do it. How about taking credit for somebody else's work? Want to ruin a day? I'm giving you the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. Like some of you didn't already know, right? Oh, how about introducing somebody to a bad habit? Bringing them into your crazy conspiracy theories or something like that. That can not just ruin their day. Sometimes you can ruin people's lives, because sometimes that one day, that person could be at a tipping point. All they need is one thing to put them over the edge, cause them to give up, to question mankind, legitimacy. So sometimes it's not just a matter of ruining a day. Sometimes your actions can ruin a life. So if you want to do that, I've given you some tips, but I know that's not you, because I know my audience. My audience is more about making somebody's day, improving somebody's life, giving them an advantage, a leg up. Because we know all it takes to make somebody's day, the compliment. Sometimes that compliment, that's all it takes. If you want to make somebody's day, I'm going to tell you how to do it. How about empathize with somebody? Say, I know how you feel. I've been there. Sometimes you have to say, look, I can't imagine what you're going through. If I did, if I could only be in your shoes, I could understand. Empathy. Sometimes that's all it takes to make somebody's day. Encouragement. Let's encourage somebody. We bringing people down. Encourage them. Well, I tell you, I'm behind you. I got you. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Which is the next one? Assist. Help them out. I tell you, boy, I know I'm a business owner. I'm not I jokingly call myself a money grubbing capitalist, but sometimes I don't think I fit the role, because I'm into helping folks. And you can too. I got an email from somebody the other day. They were promoting some event. I mean, the thing had all kind of errors in it. Now, of course, we get paid for this kind of stuff. They didn't hire me to do it, but I just happened to be on their mailing list. I sent them a note, said, look, I don't know if you saw this, but you got a couple of errors on your piece. I know you appreciate your brand and how things are working. Why don't you do this? I'll be glad to take that piece and correct it for you. And I said, at no charge, because I value that person's friendship. And I know, hopefully, that outreach, that offer to assist, can actually help make that person's day. And also, don't be afraid to say thank you. Appreciate people. Appreciate what they do. Your staff, your clients, your family members. doesn't have to be, they don't have to go out and do anything major, but just learn how to say thank you and appreciate you. Sometimes you just have to tell people, look, I appreciate you. Guy came in my office the other day. I was doing some of their work. We were sending out their newsletter, and we've been going back and forth. And on the way out the door, he paused for just a minute and said, I appreciate you. Man, I stuck my chest out. You think I'd be beyond this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, but I need it. I need encouragement every now and then too. He said, I appreciate you. Everything that we may have said that was not to my liking was evaporated. I appreciate you. Folks, you can make somebody's day. You can break somebody's day. But I know the people on the sound of my voice, you'd rather do the latter. You'd rather make somebody's day. So let's go out here and make somebody's day. I've given you the tip, but I know you have a lot of your own because many of you are already doing. You can probably show me a couple of things or two. So thank you again for tuning in this morning. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I am Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel and trying to make some days, trying to make a few people's day. We're going to do the and thank you, brother Brown. I see Brother Brown trying to make me cry. Where's my tissue, Tito? Brother Brown said, you appreciate me. He was my student. I teach over at Prince George's Community College. Been doing that for a long time. And I've met some amazing people. And people like Mr. Brown, who I really appreciate. I mean, just great individual. And I try to tell my clients this on a regular basis. And so thank you, Mr. Brown, and thank you. And I appreciate everybody who's listening. And whether you say it or not, I know you appreciate this show just by your presence. So thank you for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. We're going to talk about later in the show. We're going to talk about social media. Now, I've talked about social media on this platform many times, but I tell you, folks, I can't do it enough. Because it is such a part of our lives now. You can't escape it. So what I want to do, I'm not going to talk to you today about how to do a Facebook page or how to do this or do that. I'm not really giving you advice on the monetary side, even though you can probably use it for that. I'm going to tell you, social media, it might not be so social after all. I'm telling you, social media has turned into, there's really kind of three types of social media, if you ask me. There's the social, there's the unsocial, and there's the antisocial. And most of us are going to fall in one of those categories. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk to you about social media again. And I think you should listen because I'm going to help you how to navigate this medium that has been to the detriment of so many. It has caused people gain, but it has also caused people a lot of pain. So I'm going to give you some advice based on my experience and based on my knowledge. Who died and made me king? Well, nobody. I actually do this for a living. I do this for the federal government on some of their contracts in the 8A program. It's one of the core services of my business. I teach it at the college, and I'm certified. So you're getting it from the horse's mouth. Do I know everything? No, but I do know my way around social media. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what's happening in the news, and it's a lot. It's a lot. We still have this pandemic out here. We have a lot of things going on. So I want you to hang on, and we're going to come back in a minute, talk about what's happening in the news, and later we're going to talk about our segment, War in the Workplace. People are still angry. I don't know, folks. Hang on. We'll be right back in a minute. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, you have to ground it. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. Somebody came up to me and said, we were in a meeting and one of the people in the meeting said, that's right, boy, we got to fake it till we make it. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it has a nice ring to it. It's a nice quote, but really, that the hill you really want to die on. I say, why spend all this time faking it when we could actually be making it. You know what I think sometimes? I think some of these sayings and quotes came from people who have an agenda of their own. I think about the one percenters. These guys really have a tough time sleeping at night when they think about all of the benefits that they have. And if they can sleep better knowing that if the rest of the world out here is doing well, so they look out there and they survey the land and everybody's doing well because they're faking it, then they can keep doing what they're doing. They don't have to write their chip because so many people are faking it and not making it. All right, welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Not saving souls, I'm saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. I'd like to thank you again for tuning in on this wonderful Friday. We are here every Friday, and you can go back to marketingpulpit.com. If you happen to miss a show, you can go to the website and you can actually search on the topic that you may have missed. You're going to go back and watch last week's show. It's right there on the homepage. Or the week before that, we have them down in our video gallery. You can also go to your platform of choice. You can go to YouTube. You can watch the shows there. You can go to Facebook. And you can go to Twitter and watch the entire past show. Get this information in as many ear holes as you can. And don't forget to share it to people who need it. There are some people out here who they're not familiar with this show. And they're out here spending a lot of money, sometimes getting bad advice from people who are not. Sometimes they have an agenda that's a little different than the success of your business. I'd like to thank our sponsors also, people like the Perfect Batch Food, B&B Cleaning, Brother Brown, Eternity Plumbing, Bradley Thomas, BLE Executive Suites, with their 3 locations, one here in Largo, Maryland, over in the National Harbor, and at College Park. If you need business services, someone to answer your phone, if you need office suites by the day, by the hour, or long-term lease, they are in the position to help you. They're in our community, and they're providing a great service. Call them at 301-322-1700 or go to blesuites.com. It doesn't matter where you live, where your business is located. They have a service that can help your business grow. And they've been a sponsor of this show for many years, and we thank them for their participation and support. Now, let's talk about some things that are happening in the news. We try to bring you the news on a regular basis to keep you contextualized on what's going on out here in the marketplace and how these stories might affect you. These things don't just happen in a vacuum. These things affect us. They affect us all. This Delta virus, from what I'm hearing, the worst may be behind us, at least for now, that we've seen a drop in cases from the highs. So in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a drop in the number of cases that are going up. Now, there's some good news and some bad news. The deaths from the virus have actually gone up. So I'm not sure that news is so good after all. But what that does mean, there's usually a lag time between the deaths and the number of cases. So if the number of cases are going down, that means the number of deaths will be going down as well. But folks, let's still take precaution. Let's still do what we have to do to protect ourselves and make sure that we're not spreading this disease, because it does affect us. It affects our businesses. It affects our personal lives. And so we want to do what we have to do to make sure that we're doing all we can do to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Here's an interesting story. Happy Hour has a new face or a new stimulant. Cannabis has become the new happy hour substance of choice. And cannabis, of course, is the recreational, actually it's supposed to be the medicinal part of the marijuana. And people are ingesting it in certain ways, but it now has become legal in many of the states. It's not federally legal yet, but in many states, cannabis is legal and is being used now for recreational use. Companies like Amazon, for instance, they are among the firms that have eased up on drug testing because they understand the proliferation of drugs like cannabis, and that they're being a little more open about the drug. So beware, there is a cannabis happy hour coming near you. There's not any in this coffee, I can assure you. It's not a bad idea, though. But cannabis in the morning. Oh, boy. Well, Dollar Tree is now $1 and whatever, $1.50, $3, $4 tree, because Dollar Tree has gotten a little dose of reality and realized that because prices are going up everywhere, they're going to have to break this $1 promise. Well, I mean, we knew that was coming. I mean, how long can you hold prices at $1 when prices are going up everywhere? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, that you may not be aware of, but you should be. Supply chain economics. I've talked about supply chain on several shows. And what supply chain means is that the price hasn't got to you yet, but what's happening down the line, when you have all of these people who are not coming to work, when you have people, industries that are affected by COVID-19, you have plants who are not up to capacity, that eventually the supply chain gets disrupted. That means it might be happening right now, but you might not see it for another few months down the road. That is happening, ladies and gentlemen, right now as we speak. So I'm going to say brace yourselves for some price increases, for some service interruptions, because it's coming. See, people like myself, we have to, to understand business, we also have to understand economics. And so I have to watch these things. I have to look at the trends and the cycles and what's coming down the road. And I'm happy to share that with you. So look at your industry and look at how you might make adjustments for these changes that are coming. One thing you got to start doing is treating your staff better, because they might leave you, first of all. You're getting ready for this onslaught. Sometimes it may affect your business up, it may affect your business down, but you're going to be affected one way or the other. Treat your staff right, pay them a decent wage, make sure you're on top of technology, make sure you tune into reliable sources like the Marketing Pulpit TV show every Friday. We're going to keep you abreast of what's going on. So don't just sit there like this is not going to affect you, because it will. It's going to affect everybody. And so Dollar Tree is just one example of companies that are starting to feel the pinch of what is going on that has been precipitated by this COVID-19 virus that has morphed into the Delta variant. And what's next? AKA Zeta, Sigma, Phi Beta. I don't know how they got that name, but it's names or something though. Somehow names. People choose names like for hurricanes, and I don't know. I guess there's a method to the madness. Here's a strange story, which tells me that in some industries, you cannot make a mistake. You just can't. Now, in my industry, I can make a mistake, and sometimes I can go back and clean it up. Some things are just like, you just can't make a mistake. Like if you're taking somebody's wedding picture, you can't mix that shot when they start kissing and eating cake. You can't say, well, my battery died, or I had an important phone call to come in. Just certain industries, you got to have backup systems, and you got to have staff. If you're not prepared to be flawless in certain industries, you need to be out of that industry. I'm just telling you. Some industries you get a second shot, some don't. Like the case in North Carolina where a couple of daughters went to their mother's wake and found a strange lady in her mother's casket. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, certain industries, you don't have the luxury of making a mistake. You got to check. You got to double check. You got to have a checklist. Just like when we do certain things, even though we don't, I think we have the benefit of having a second chance in many cases, but we do have a very stringent checklist of things that we do before we launch certain things. Like we might launch a website, there's a checklist we got to go through. And I'm very adamant about that. Make sure this is happening. Make sure the links are working. Make sure everything is forwarded. The SSL certificate is in place. Content has been approved. Check that list. And I'm sure that this funeral home down in North Carolina, they may have had a list, but so many things have been affected by this pandemic. Like I say, people are short-staffed, and we've seen an uptick in the number of fatalities. So what's the lesson in this? Sometimes you got to tell people, no, we just can't guarantee the quality that we promise in our pledge, in our brand, in our purpose, in our mission. I've had some clients some people have been on my case because I won't take their new business right now. I'm sorry. If I don't have the capacity to put out a quality product every time, I'm going to put you on hold because what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I had a young lady contact me the other day, and she was trying to get me to join some organization that's going to send me all this business. I said, I appreciate the offer. But right now, my focus is on delivering a better quality service to my existing clients. I want to offer them more value. So that's the moral of this story, ladies and gentlemen. Just because people want to give you business and you want to grow, you got to look at your capability to put out a quality product. And in certain industries, you don't have the luxury of getting it wrong. And this funeral home in North Carolina found out. Now, here's an interesting story. We're talking about social media later on in the show, but this story here's a great segue. This group called MIT Technology, they did a review of the 2020 presidential election and found out that troll farms reached 140 million Americans ahead of the 2020 presidential election. And that's pretty startling. That means think about 140 million people. What is only like 400 million people in the whole country. 40% of them were reached by these troll farms. These troll farms, mostly Russian from Kosovo and Macedonia. And what a troll farm does, they set up these fake accounts, and they look just like legitimate accounts. And they target certain segments of the population. And then they start spewing out this information. In most of the cases, it's misinformation. Or sometimes it's actually actual information, but they have slanted it and skewed it towards a certain demographic to get them to behave in a certain way, often to change their opinion when it comes to the election. Now, the groups that they were targeting the most was Christian Americans. And the second group was African Americans. And they hit African Americans hard with misinformation. I remember in the 2016, there was a group, during the 2016 election, they set up a group called Blacktivists. Man, they were just as pro-black, and they had like hundreds of thousands of followers. But it was a Russian troll organization. And so this is a great segue into my sermon coming up later on social media, pain or gain, that you just can't jump on everything out here that you see. Particularly now, people are vulnerable. There's misinformation. We have a vaccine out here. We have a virus, this coronavirus. People are getting all this misinformation on what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Folks, you got to take advice from people that you can touch and feel, or at least have some type of confidence in. Not because you just saw something on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. So that's going to be coming up. We're going to talk about that in more depth coming up on our segment later on, social media, pain or gain. Now, here's a good segue, a similar story. OMG, my boss is following me on Instagram. What do you do? What do you do when your boss or your clients or somebody who's very dear to you, you like them, but you might not like them in your business every day? So what you might want to do is consider, like I say, once again, it's a good segue into our segment coming up. Let's see, that's a good segment coming into our segment, a good segment into our segue coming up. About social media. Would you want your boss following you on Instagram or Facebook, for that matter? What would you do? An invite from your boss. I mean, that's a very dicey situation if you ask me. This person is paying your salary, and of course you have the option of letting them in or not. What do you do? Well, hopefully we can shed some light on that in our topic coming up in a few minutes on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all of them on our segment, social media, pain or gain. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to quickly talk about war in the workplace. We're going to talk about things that are happening right now, because right now, what's going on, we're seeing a level of animosity, a level of discord that's unprecedented. I'm not sure we've seen this in years. So I've created a segment called War in the Workplace. Why is everybody so angry? You don't want to miss it because we have some stories that'll really make that hair stand up on the back of your neck. That's coming up in a minute. So this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, you have to ground it. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. Female workers report higher stress. And that's a non-story. I mean, we've always known that. But what are companies going to do about it? Much of the burden of this pandemic has been borne by females. They're the primary caretakers in most cases. They were already underpaid. They were on the front line in many of these jobs. So naturally, we're seeing 74% of women say they're somewhat stressed for work-related reasons compared to just 61% of men. We've got to do better, ladies and gentlemen. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more, they should be given more flexible work hours, and a few other benefits to level this problem out. So we know the problem. Now, what are we going to do about it as a society? Let's talk about war in the workplace. I talk about stakeholder relationships quite often. Stakeholders is anybody who has a stake in the success or failure of your business. And generally, these components, these ingredients work in concert. They support each other. We have synergy. They're like, freaking frat, working together. But every now and then, what we're seeing right now, we are seeing them come to blows, literally. I'd like to welcome you back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about war in the workplace. What's going on with people? What's wrong with you? You know this stuff is not right. Half the stuff that's going on out here, people that doing it, they know it's not right. Then some don't. Some are driven by fame. They want to get hits and clicks on social media. Some have become overly influenced by the politicization, the polarization of society, for whatever reason. And we know that a big factor has been this pandemic and lockdown. That's why sometimes I refer to this as lockdown-itis. Whatever the reason, we have war going out here in the workplace, and it's going to affect you at some point of time. You think you could be an innocent bystander? Like this people that went to McDonald's recently, and they were trying to just order a plain old frappe, and the person behind the counter, instead of pouring the caramel sauce on the drink, they poured sweet and sour sauce. And then the person went out there on TikTok and spread it out to 63 million viewers, and they got 7.6 million likes. Now, one of the underlying quotes in this person's, I guess, I don't know if this was their mission or not, but they said, never mess with the people that make your food. Now, I can tell you that. I didn't have to pour sweet and sour sauce on your frappe to get that message across, but I spent most of my earlier years in the food industry. We were one of the first companies to have a home delivery restaurant service called the Food Connection back in the late 80s and early 90s. And I saw what's going on in some of those kitchens firsthand. And plus, like I say, we had drivers out here on the street, and you be yelling at folks, and then they go in the back to fix your food. Think about that for a minute. Okay, just pause for a minute. I'll give you a second. You're yelling at someone, calling them names, talking about their hair, the way they look, their race, their sexual orientation, and then you're going to send them in the back to bring out your food. Just think about it. But anyway, I think that was the message this guy was trying to make, but I think he went about it the wrong way. Of course, he's no longer working with McDonald's. He did a video of himself, I guess, leaving, saying goodbye in front of the McDonald's because they, of course, fired him from that establishment. Once again, social media, folks, that's why we're going to talk about it later on in our segment. Social media playing a game. A burger joint in California, they just fed up with young people. They said if you're under 18, you cannot come into our restaurant without an adult. They said young people were in there, a previous visit, throwing fries at the seating to see if they were sick. So Red Rooster Burgers and Brew said, young people, you vandalized our premises. You are no longer invited. You're no longer welcome unless you bring an adult. Well, I don't know how this is going to hold up legally, but it does make you think. Are adults the answer? Is that what's going to have to happen to bring things under control? We got to get the adults have to stick up, have to step up, take charge, make these young people do the right thing, lead by example. Let's see what this next story does. 2 adults throw food at teen worker at a Maryland ice cream shop. Okay, so much for that idea. According to Icy Delights, a 15-year-old had a customer, 2 adults. So much for the adults leading by example. They threw 5 desserts and a tip jar at a 15-year-old employee. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on here? What's going on here? Now, you know that's right. According to the story, the couple asked for a snowball, and the snowball was not delivered to their liking. They went back and forth over this snowball time and time again. Finally, the staffer went back and said, look, why don't we just give you your money back? I mean, that seems fair enough, right? You can get your snowball, get your money, you can go somewhere down the street and go to Jay's Snowballs shop or someplace else. Well, of course, that's when the food throwing started. These 2 people, adults, start throwing food at a 15-year-old. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Is this the kind of example we want to set for our young people? I mean, first of all, it's assault. The mother has said she will sue those adults because they were captured on video and it's on social media. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I have to do this segment on social media occasionally, in case you're thinking that you can do certain things and get away with it. You can't. You cannot. It just doesn't work that way anymore. Now, the airlines, my goodness, they have been the magnet for the crazies. Person down in American Airlines opened the emergency door and walked out onto the wing of the plane in Miami. Now, thankfully, the plane had landed. But I'm not sure you want to be walking on the wing of a plane at any point, whether it's landing, taxiing, or any point of the journey. Once again, people have kind of lost their minds on this during this pandemic. And it never stops with the airlines. A man attempted to storm the cockpit. He strangled and kicked a flight attendant. He was trying to make a phone call, and when the call was not successful, he became very angry. He even asked the people in the cockpit to shoot him. Man, sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. I think this person maybe had some issues other than not making the phone call, but JetBlue, man, they have been in the news a lot lately. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Now, I know there's nobody in my audience who's going to participate in this type of shenanigans, but you need to be aware. That person sitting next to you on the plane could be an absolute nut. Six Flags, right here in the, I think this is right here in the Maryland area, had to close because large groups were fighting each other. You can't even go to the Six Flags to get on the merry-go-round. They were at a Fright Fest Halloween festival, and the fists start flying, groups start pushing and shoving and knocking each other upside the head. Once again, it's posted on social media. Six Flags closed it down, closed the shop, and people were not too happy about it. One lady, she was on there boohooing because the kids just really stomped all over her car, and it was videoed. And if you think your school bus is safe, now this is really a tragic story. School bus. Now these kids are going to have to suffer with this the rest of their lives. A bus driver was attacked with a knife and killed in front of a bus full of students. Man, I drove a school bus, but man, we never incurred anything like that. These poor kids, adults, wake up, snap out of it. If you don't care about yourself, let's care about the kids. But I'm not saying, I know this is not my audience. I'm just telling you what's going on out here because it affects us. That could have been your kid on that bus. So we got to be aware of what's going on. We can't bury our head in the sand like these things aren't happening. FedEx came under heat. One of his drivers went on TikTok. Man, TikTok has become the new purveyor of, I guess, craziness. I guess any of these platforms, but TikTok seems to be has the hot hand right now. This FedEx driver went on TikTok and proudly proclaimed he would not deliver to any supporter of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Black Lives Matter. So if he saw a Joe Biden sign in your yard or a Kamala Harris sign or a BLM sign, he said he was just going to take it back to the station. And he videoed it on TikTok. Now, one thing I want people to be aware of also is that we put a lot of faith in these workers, these people that deliver our products, cook our food, come into our homes. Just be aware. That's why I say we got to come back home to people that we know, people that we built relationships with. We out here sometimes we dealing with these strange companies and strange individuals when we have companies in our community that can provide the identical service or better. But just because they had a big Facebook following or because they had a bigger advertising budget, sometimes the reasons are just insane that we don't support our own businesses. The company that I deal with, I go right down here to Industrial Bank. I have to drive a little further. They don't have as many offices, but I feel like I know them. Same thing when I'm shopping for food or places to buy my coffee. I want to build a relationship, a rapport. Of course, I can get it wrong. I mean, he could bring in a little snot nose tomorrow and start spitting in every cup of coffee that goes out the door. I can't control that, but you can control the controllables. That's what I always tell people, control the controllables. Well, of course, that FedEx driver was fired. They wouldn't say whether he was quit or fired. The driver said he quit, but I guess he quit because he knew he was going to be fired. But these are the kind of folks that we have coming into our homes and interacting with on a daily basis. Well, sometimes people try to, they say, well, if I put faith in religion, maybe that's the answer. I'm not even sure that's the case. A Texas man invited people into his motel room. He was constantly reading the Bible and talking about God and expressing the desire to help people. So what he would do, invite them into his hotel room. And of course, once he got them in there, he sacrificed them, cut them up into little pieces and set them on fire. Now you think I'm making this up. This is the kind of people we're dealing with in our society, ladies and gentlemen. That's another lesson. Just because somebody talks a slick game, just because they This world is full of false prophets, people that claim they're of the cloth, claim they're speaking for God, but they're not. They're actually evil. Just be aware. Folks, we got to come back home. We got to start dealing with people we know. We got to start trusting our community better. And of course, we got some crazies in our community too. But, and I'm not saying we got to get into this myopia where we only trust people that we within our circle. But there is a benefit of building relationships. Business, personal, social, spiritual, so that we not keep falling for these things out here of people who are trying to do us harm. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about social media. It might not be so social after all. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving business. You don't want to miss this next segment. We're talking about social media. I have to do this every now and then. I feel like this is my calling. I have to do this. I feel like if I don't do this, I'm not really fulfilling my obligation as a person in this field. So hang on, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a minute. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, you have to ground it. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. Many people right now, they have social media accounts. Some have Facebook. They got 3 billion people now. It's hard not to have a Facebook account. Well, I'd say Facebook is like the catch-all. You're not doing anything else, and you just want to get out there. It's kind of hard to go wrong with Facebook. You have Instagram, which is in the Facebook family. You have Twitter. 300 million people. They haven't really grown like some of the other platforms. YouTube, which is also in the social media family, but I kind of call it more one of those pivotal aspects of business success. You have to tie it to something, you have to ground it. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. All right, welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, we're saving jobs, we're saving our community. Now, what we're going to talk about right now is that we're going to talk about social media, because I deal with people asking me social media questions on a daily basis. They're talking about what platform should I be on, how to be safe on it, what are some of the rules of decorum. Should I believe this? Should I believe that? What should I do? How should I conduct myself on social media? What are the rules of decorum? Now, I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't do this, because I am so vested in this medium. I'm a adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College, where I teach social media strategies. I also provide this as a service to the businesses in the 8A program of the Small Business Administration. It's one of the core services we offer at my business at Gatewood Marketing and Web. So I may have a little more insight than many. I don't claim to know it all, because social media is so evolving. It's so dynamic. It's changing as we speak. But I am happy to share some insight, not necessarily on how to go out here and build a social media platform that's going to make you a lot of money, but hopefully I can help make you safe and answer some of the questions that come up from time to time regarding social media. And we heard quite a few of our stories today in the news were social media related. So let me go through this real fast. I'm not going to get into a lot of details, but I am going to hit some quick bullet points. Hope you can find useful. Social media, I'm pretty much grouped most of us in 3 groups. There's the social, these people that are all in. They're in it. building businesses, they're building their base, building relationships through social media. They see it as a tool that's really beneficial to them, and they're invested in it. That's the social people. That's the social side of social media. Then we have the unsocial people that are pretty much passive observers. They like it. They'll post every now and then, but they really kind of, it's like an entertainment to them. They go in there and watch what people are doing, and they'll share something every now and then. They're not really all in. They're kind of unsocial on social media. Then we have the third group, which is really a little disturbing. That's called the antisocial. These people are rude, mean, belittling, and they're downright dangerous. So we have to, for one, as a society, understand that there are all these different groups out here. It's not a cookie cutter, and not everybody on social media is the same. There's the, I'm going to give you some of the good and the bad of social media. I'm going to start with some of the bad things. And this is not to put a downer on you, but there are some things that you need to be aware of. Most of all, I think people give too much information out on social media. If you have something to say, if you're angry, social media is not the place to go and to air that. Just plain old TMI. Half of these stories that we did today, somebody went on social media and did something, or they put some information out here they probably should have kept it themselves. Sometimes social media can be very petty. People are selling beefs on social media that really shouldn't be. They're doing it because they have an audience. And that audience is what really have driven many people to make some very bad decisions. It's like rappers out there. It's now everybody can do what the rappers used to do, like the East Coast, West Coast. Now they got their own little audience. We can go on here and talk about people and sell beefs on social media. There's a lot of misrepresentation of what you do, of what people do. And that's intentional. So that's another reason you can't believe everything you see. People are misrepresenting themselves on a grand scale on social media. It can be lazy and impersonal. It's not enough human contact. We need that. But social media has kind of made it easier for people not to develop human relationships. Sometimes people can have this false sense of doing something. Well, I posted on social media, so I've fulfilled my obligation to this particular cause. And really, you didn't really do anything at all. Misinformation and conspiracy theories. That's a very damaging aspect of social media. We've seen that with this pandemic, where people are just giving out crazy information. People are making decisions, very life and death decisions on wrong information. People have dropped their guards. Sometimes it can be very insecure. Bullying, cyber stalking. I can't tell how many stories where somebody has found somebody, stalked them, and did damage to them because of information they found about that person on social media. You're giving too much power, sometimes, to people that you don't know. You're giving all this power to the powers that be to run these platforms, when you should be putting that power back into your community and your home and your family. It can be addictive, particularly among the young. They don't have the power of discernment that many of our adults have. So when we watch these young people get on social media, and they've been body shamed, they've been bullied, they've committed suicide. So, and then a lot of them just get addicted to it, and that's how their value systems have been totally distorted. And if you're in the business, it can really ruin your brand. You get social media get out of hand. It can ruin your reputation, your personal reputation, and your brand of your company. Those are some of the bad parts of social media. Now, the good part, of course, is that it's a very good marketing and branding tool. And it's within the budgets. It can fall within the affordability of most small business budgets. You can go on Facebook, you can go on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. You can run an ad, pretty successful ad, about $300 or $400 a month. And sometimes it's hard to do that on some of the broadband media, on print, radio, TV, things like that. You can target very effectively. You can do geo-targeting. You can do lifestyle targeting. You can talk about demographics. So those tools are available. Some people think that since it's on Facebook, I've got to reach the entire world. No, they have tools that can help you geo-target and target by lifestyle and business types, and other platforms like LinkedIn, where you can really target, pinpoint certain classifications of industries and things like that. So it's very good for that. Also, it's a good indirect form of advertising. That means where you're actually nurturing and branding and building your reputation without trying to do a hard sell. It's also great for showing videos and your products. And if you got a brand new product line, like some clothing or shirts or hair products, you can really put those out there in a very inexpensive and affordable way, and you can reach a very good audience. It's fast. You turn things around. You can set up an account today and be posting within a few minutes. And if used properly, it can be a great equalizer for some of these big companies that you're fighting against. If you can go out here and build yourself a following and understand that there's basically two types of ways to get out there. Through organic. Now, organic's going to take a little longer. You got to spend a little more time. But then there's also the paid, and that's where places like LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth, where you can actually pay. If you don't have any followers at all, you can still reach a very large audience through the paid Boost platform, and that's available on every platform. So social media has some redeeming benefits, but it's moving away from the social aspect. It's more towards now business, and we're seeing more and more what I call the antisocial, the angry, rude, belittling, bullying, and downright misinformation that's starting to proliferate. And I'm happy to see that companies like Facebook and YouTube are taking a stand against some of the misinformation and trolling, but I think they can do more. I'm sure they can do more. Let me give you my quick to-do list of action items that you can do to make social media work for you. And this is just my own personal list. One, I want you to understand it. Understand how it works. There are courses out here. I do a course at the college. This show, we have several shows. We've done several shows on social media. You can go back go to marketingpulpit.com and just do a search. And we've done several shows. If you're trying to build your business on it, we have shows on how to do it safely. So today I'm just covering superficially some of the topics, some of the common areas. Limit your time on social media. It's okay to take a break. You don't have to be on it all the time. I know if you hook, you become addicted. It's going to be very hard. But if you start right now limiting your exposure, you may not get addicted. If you have young people in your care, share this information with them. Make sure they don't get addicted. Try to limit their exposure. Tell them, look, take weekends off. Limit the number of hours they can spend on it. But you got to do that unless you want to be addicted. Don't overly rely on it. Some people think social media is the gospel. That's where they live. Everything they see, everything they do, it has to have a social media foundation. That's not the right approach, folks. It should be one of your many tools of communicating, of promoting, of reaching out to people, building relationships, but it should not be your only tool. That's the old putting too many eggs in one basket philosophy. Once again, don't believe everything you see on social media. Believe half of what you hear and none of what you see, something like that. Half of what you hear, half of what you see and none of what you hear, something along that line. Control the controllables. There are some things on social media you can't control. You're not just some lemon led off a cliff. Go into those profiles, go into those settings, make sure you have those settings set so they benefit you and that you're not just a pawn in somebody's game. Control the controllables. Practice safety. Practice safety. Like I said, don't put everything about yourself on social media. When you take photos, be aware of the information that's on some of those photos you put out there. I've seen people put photos of their vaccination cards. I've seen people take pictures of their automobiles. And that has valuable intelligence on it. Somebody wants to do you harm. Your license tag, your vaccination card has your birth date on it. Sometimes all that bad guy needs to lift your identity is just one more little piece of information. Well, if I got the birth date, now everything else, I can make sure that is the particular person, not the other person that has the same name. So you want to limit some of that information you put out there. I know sometimes we get excited about things that we say, oh, wow, we don't think about it. We don't pause and say, look, can this information be used against me? In many cases, it can be. And like I say, Anybody who's gotten vaccinated, if you want to celebrate it, I celebrate it right along with you, but that may not be the information you want to put on social media because it does have your birth date on it. It may not have the year which you were born, but sometimes that month and date is all the bad guys need. If you're a criminal, forget it. You might as well go straight. The police, man, that's the best thing ever happened to law enforcement. It's social media. Man, these guys can sit back now on their desk and just comb through Facebook and Instagram. They don't have to wear out shoes. They call them brown shoes. They go out there and wear out a pair of shoes, beat on the beat. They don't have to do that anymore. They just go on social media because you put all your information out there and they're coming to get you, believe me. Monitor your account too. When you put these accounts out there are people out there waiting to steal your identity and pretend they're you. So you want to go in every now and then to make sure there's not something fishy going on in your account. And if somebody lets you know that there's an account out there with your name, you need to take action. You need to let Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or whomever know. And they can take that account down if you can prove that you are the rightful person instead of that bad person. Also know that your stakeholders and your bosses and everybody is watching. They are watching. You young folks who are just starting out in your careers, they are watching. Keep some things personal, private. Body parts, political affiliations, your drinking habits. Everybody doesn't need to know that, okay? Your people are watching. Tell the truth. Don't exaggerate, over-exaggerate, and because that information can come back to haunt you later on. Sometimes it might apply to you today, but it will come back later on. Choose quality over quantity. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 8,000, 50,000, 100,000. Think about your mission. And I'm going to put an asterisk beside this one because sometimes if you're in a certain industry, it is more important than other industries to have a large following. If you're an influencer, if you're trying to run for office, nobody wants to follow somebody one or two followers. But if that's not your case and you're more about building your business, your reputation, quality relationships, choose quality over quantity. If you're going to use it, ladies and gentlemen, actually use it as a business tool. That's been my rule. Every now and then I might put something on there about my family, birthday or something like that, a celebration. But for the most part, I use social media for business. I just don't have the time or the patience for some of the other stuff. And that has worked for me. And like I say, I use about the 80-20 rule, about 80% business, 20% I might slide into some social stuff, but usually by then, relating to family or something along that line. But you have to make that decision, determination yourself. But I'm just telling you, one way to keep it under control is to have limitations on how you're going to use it. And last but not least, and I say this, I've been saying this since social media has been around, and I'll say it again. So when it comes to social media, use social media and don't let it use you. And my other thing is, if the product is free, most likely the service is you. Keep that in mind as you go out here and navigate this social media waters. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I understand that we can get caught up in social media. It's a great tool if you use it properly. I have had some reconnection with some folks that I probably would have never seen again in my life had it not been for social media. I mean, some on this platform today. And I thank you for reaching out and for reconnecting. But that's what I would like. That's how I would like for you to use social media. Not for belittling, not for espousing all these different beliefs and spreading information that may or may not be true. We can use social media for good, but it's up to you. I want you to search your soul and say, look, before I post this, before I reach out to that person, before I punch this person, before I curse this person out, before I put this political charged statement out here, just know eventually it may end up on social media. So I want you to govern yourselves accordingly. And once again, don't let social media use you, but it's okay to use it if you use it in the right way. Folks, that's going to wrap up the show for today. Thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. We'll be back next week right here on the Marketing Pulpit TV show. And also go to marketingpulpit.com. You can follow us on Facebook, You can follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, all of the social media platforms. You can go to marketingpulpit.com and follow us, get all the past shows, and just love having you as a part of the Marketing Pulpit family. And as always, as I say, Mr. Brown, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. People don't understand marketing. You can't stop every time the money runs out. You need to come on and tell people why your service is different. Why is everybody so angry? Airline passengers biting the TSA agents. I mean, it reminds me of one of those zombie apocalyptic movies. And as a community, collectively, we're going to be taken more seriously if we have that strong economic foundation. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.